Frank Sinatra. What? Frank Sinatra is gay?
That's what I heard.
Monday at 5 on CW23.
Welcome to the Sports Show. Mike Max, Trent Tucker, Lou Henney, and Sid Hartman covering lots of sports to cover today. Happy Easter, everyone, that it's applicable to. Sydney, how are you?
Okay.
Yeah, you look pretty good.
I saw you at the Timberwolves game last night.
Yeah, I saw you there. I got to tell you something. This is kind of a funny side note. So, they feed before the game, you can eat, as you guys know, there's a place that you can pay and eat if you're in the media. And they had fish tacos last night. And it wasn't, so Sid comes and he gets a fish taco and he takes one bite and he walks out and leaves. Comes back, he's got a hot dog and chips that he bought at the concession stand.
I didn't like the food.
I know you didn't. Let's start with Gophers. A lot happened. They named this committee for the athletic director. Is that committee going to have a lot of say, Sid, a little say? What do we got?
Well, I still think that Beth Getz will be the athletic director. I think they'll all meet, and he'll take himself off the hook because he'll say, the committee picked her.
You mean the president will?
I didn't pick her.
Okay.
I talked to 4 athletic directors next week. He says, yes, if the job pays $750,000, that's what he said.
That's the middle of the Big Ten. It's about
$750,000. They might be interested because they're not going to need money like that.
Louis, for a position like this, is money a big thing for people that want a position like this, or as long as you're in the range, what do you find?
Well, it's a big thing to some people. It all depends who the candidate is.
But do you want that person, I guess?
If you want that person, you're going to have to pay that money. So that's why I think the president made the statement that 750 is sort of the middle of the range. And
then he also said he did not want to pay that.
No, I don't think he really said that.
He did, because I asked him the question.
No, he doesn't want to pay anything. He doesn't have to pay anything. But the fact is, if he wants the person that they're really interested in, and 750 is going to take it to get him or her, they'll pay it.
Trent, what do you think? What should the profile of this athletic director look like, not knowing who all the candidates are?
Well, you want to bring someone who has been in this position before. You want to bring in a person that you believe that can move the program forward. And it's going to be a tough decision to make. And like Louis just said, if you're looking to bring in a real big name person, you're going to spend that type of money. And if you're not willing to spend that type of money, then you'll find that person who can fit into that category.
Oh, big name is going to take that.
Well, I don't even know if big athletic directors aren't really big names, though. I mean, you'd have to really know sports to know the names of athletic directors.
Oh, big name is going to take that job. If a guy is a big name, he's got a good job now. He's probably got a winning program, and this is no bargain, this job.
What about Lou Holtz?
Lou Holtz might be the best guy they could get.
I think he's a big name. But he's a big name. But he's a big name.
Lou Holtz is doing nothing right now. He and Beth loved living there. If they call Lou Holtz and says, Lou, I'd like to have you take this job for 3-4 years, he'd grab it.
But he won't call him. He's a big name.
But they won't. He's a big name.
You haven't thought about this. Now those wheels are turning.
Not working.
Well, that's what happens with some big names. They don't have jobs sometimes.
A big name that's working.
It all depends what you mean by a big name, and it necessarily doesn't have to be somebody in athletics, because if you look at other things that have happened in the past, many places, including Michigan, when Don Cannon was so successful, came out of the business world.
Pat Richter.
So the committee's going to get a lot of people to look at, and they're going to have to make a decision, pass it on the recommendation to the president, and then we'll see what happens.
If the right guy gets the job, he'll hire Jerry Kill as an associate athletic director.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Trent? Well, let me ask you this.
Okay.
and Louis, you might know more about it, but obviously, and Louis, we didn't weigh in. You weren't here last week, but you were very familiar with the Big Ten hockey tournament. So they get to this Michigan-Minnesota game for the championship, and it's a well-played game. Lots of good players, lots of up and down, and then they got 4,200 people in the building. So Notre Dame is now coming into the Big Ten in hockey. Just conversation I was having the other night. Do you think this could be a way, getting Notre Dame in, to try to open a door so the Big Ten becomes less inclusive, and then they go after North Dakota or St. Cloud or Arizona State?
They are going to go after one of those. In fact, they're already doing that, whether they want to admit it or not. I did have a talk with some people from the Big Ten about 4 or 5 months ago at the beginning of the year. And just because we were just talking about what's happened to the crowds and the interest in the Big Ten, and we know in this market that it really hurt the Gophers more than anybody, because their rivalries, starting with North Dakota and also Duluth, St. Cloud, were such that the people really wanted to go to the games. They had an interest in the games, and they weren't interested a lot of these other teams were bringing in. And one of the things we talked about is not just being a 6-team league. You got to be an 8-team league anyway right now to start.
Or
bringing
more if you want, right?
Or more, but at least get to 8 teams. And so they were hoping they could get Notre Dame, which they did. And I do think right now there's a fight, there's a battle going on for Arizona State. Would they like North Dakota? Sure, they'd love it, North Dakota or Duluth. But would they get them? Probably not. Arizona State's free. WCHA wants Arizona as well. And I think the NCHS wants Arizona. Arizona's being courted by a lot of people because that expands the TV base for all of those leagues, which all have TV contracts as well. So I do expect that Arizona will be the 8th one, and it might be the year after this before they announce it.
Illinois had hockey at one time. A long time ago.
Yeah, Mariucci's time.
And that's great, but that doesn't help the Gophers much. I mean, if Illinois joins, that doesn't do much.
They ain't going to take a non-Big Ten team.
Well, you heard him. They won't take a big non-Big Ten team, Lou.
No.
So there goes your whole thought.
They're going to take Arizona State.
They'll take a Big Ten team because...
They don't have a Big Ten team to take. If they had one, they'd love to have one. But they don't want to put... Northwestern's got money, but they don't want to put an ice service in there, and they could use some of the other ones. So is Illinois. Indiana is basically out of it. They don't have somebody else to get. They'd like to get even Maryland or Rutgers. There's a lot of hockey in Philadelphia.
Sure.
But you have to remember, if you add a Big Ten men's team, you got to add a women's team.
Right, and now your expenses go way up.
They'll take a Big Ten team because they all share in television, and Illinois or Iowa will be announced in the next year.
Louis, you're arguing. You don't know what you're talking about, Louis.
Well, you should have said Nebraska. You'd have had a better chance because at least they got a rink there and a very successful junior team. But
Arizona, that's exactly the reason they'd like Arizona State. Is because that would expand the Big Ten network, correct?
Right. And that's what they're looking at as well.
Trent, every day people ask what's wrong with Gopher basketball, blah, blah, blah. Do you think that they can turn this thing around with just this recruiting? Everybody says they got a great recruiting class. I don't buy into all that until I see, I've only seen some of them play. I don't think that this is some blue chip class. How close are they to being competitive, do you think?
Well, that's a hard question to answer at this stage because when you talk about bringing a group of freshmen and you really don't know how they're going to pan out. So I believe right now the fans and the coaching staff are in a wait-and-see moment.
That's not where you want to be.
Well, this is where they are. After a very tough year this year, the players still played hard. That's one thing you like. They were still committed, to playing for the head coach. But now you bring in these new guys coming to the Big Ten for the first time. You really don't know how they're going to respond. So I believe right now we are in a wait-and-see type situation.
And Louis, how much money do you think this is? Real dollars. What's this cost the Gophers in terms of hockey and basketball, either underperforming or because they're in the Big Ten, whatever the reason is, the lack of people? How are they going to have to make cuts, or how drastic is this?
Well, I don't think they're going to have to make cuts because they're not at that point yet, and they certainly don't want to cut any sports teams. But it's affecting their total revenue. But even though they might be down, say $1 million, maybe $2 million in revenue from the gate, you got to remember that the other side of it, the Big Ten television network is going up from 30 to 40 some million. So nets they're still way ahead. That's why they're able to withstand these drops in attendance that hockey and basketball
without panicking.
Right.
Yeah. Take a break. Come back. Stay with us.
The Sports Show is brought to you in part by Cambria, makers of quality quartz surfaces. Ticket King. For the best price on tickets anywhere, try Ticket King. RSM. This is the power of being understood. This is RSM. BMW of Minnetonka. Choose from 60 certified pre-owned BMWs at BMW of Minnetonka. And Bobby and Steve's Auto World. Go to BobbyandStevesAutoWorld.com for huge savings on everything from convenience store items to everything under the hood of your car. Fabulous chops, huge steaks, and the Buddy Bowl? Then J.D. Hoyt's is the place for you. Hoyt's opened in 1983, and Mike Andrews and his partner John White have kept this Minnesota tradition at the top of the food chain. Managing owner Pat Montague gives us a tour.
At J.D. Hoyt's, enjoy a relaxed atmosphere, great food, friendly service, private dining room, second-to-none happy hour, just blocks from the new ballpark.
Located at 394 in North Washington. Locally owned, nationally known. Hoyt's.
J.D. Hoyt's, downtown Minneapolis. Stop on by. Chop, steak, seafood. Say hi to Pat on your way to whatever event it is in downtown Minneapolis. J.D. Hoyt's off of Washington. Welcome back to the Sports Show. The Timberwolves, you and I were there last night. They put on probably their best show against Washington the night before. Last night they fall short against Utah, and they looked very tired and like a team that had run out of gas. This has been a very interesting week for them. Golden State, obviously, they take to the wire. Then they win 2 and lose 1 at the end of Utah. Where do you put them at right now at the end of March?
Well, they've had 4 games in 5 days.
And they play again tomorrow night.
These are young kids, 20 years old, who are used to playing 20, 25 games a whole year in college. And last night, if you saw the game, you were there, they couldn't hit the broadside of a barn.
Well, they scored 10 points in the first quarter. That's not good.
Line.
Then they got going.
He couldn't do nothing. Wiggins couldn't do nothing. The only guy who did anything was the big center from Kentucky, and all of a sudden,
Rubio got going.
Is hitting baskets.
Yeah, in the last few games.
But they can't play that many games. Those young kids can't play that many games.
What's a game like Washington do for them, Trent, when they go double overtime on the road, beat a playoff contending team because they keep hanging in there? Do we overemphasize that? Is it just one game, or is that the kind of thing that can take a team to their level?
It's a nice win for them because they were able to hang in there. And like you mentioned, a team that's fighting for the last playoff spot in the Eastern Conference. And if you find a way to win a tough game on the road, it's going to help your confidence for sure.
Louis, obviously.
That was a coaching victory. The one play he had that setup under the basket. Did you watch the game?
I didn't see much of the game.
He set something up. They couldn't get the ball in, and all of a sudden Sam Mitchell came up with a play, who I think's a great coach. A setup right underneath the basket, and that decided the game. He's done a fantastic job with these guys. I think if Peckill, or whatever his name is, if he can play next year, and they get the kid from Duke who can shoot 3-point shots,
Allen,
and another draft choice, they'll be a contender.
Okay, Louis, obviously what happened with Flip Saunders and the tragedy leaves behind a coaching vacancy, a general manager vacancy. They're interim now. How do you assess, from where you sit, if you're the general manager, how do you assess the coach? And if you're the owner, how do you assess the general manager? What are you looking for when you try to make a decision as to whether or not to take the interim title off these guys?
Well, the way they perform, first of all, the general manager doesn't look like it's going to be his call on the coach, according to what I saw in the paper this morning. And Glenn Taylor said it's him.
What are you looking for when you're Glenn Taylor out of your general manager when you make a decision as to whether or not he's doing a good job? Is it just the draft? Is it culture? What is it?
It's a whole quantity of things. It's the draft. It's the way the contract signings, the culture, the interaction with the coach. Obviously his whole scouting staff, how they're operating, how they're preparing, how they look to, be in position to make the right choices. There's a lot of things he's got to look at.
You look for Lou Nanne. He was a great general manager.
Of the North Stars. That's why I asked him that question, yeah.
And if I was the president of the university, he would be the athletic director.
He doesn't want it, though.
There'd be no chance.
He doesn't want it.
He could be convinced.
No, he can't.
No, he doesn't want the job.
No.
He could be convinced.
No, I can't.
To take the job for 3-4 years. He would straighten that thing out in no time.
Well, now you got either Lou Nanne or Lou Holtz. There's two columns this week coming.
Yeah, they're two big names.
Let me tell you something.
Big Lou's.
Let me tell you something.
I know one Lou that's not doing it unless he got a long pen from Florida.
I must be a good judge as general manager.
You?
Let me tell you
why. Why would you be a good judge?
I'm at WCCO one day, and next door, the owners of the North Star are having a meeting, and all of a sudden they call me over. Would Lou Nanne make a great general manager? We can't agree. I said, fantastic.
And that's how you got the job, huh?
Got the job the same day.
Wow.
Is that true or not?
Well, they did agree, though. They did agree. That's true.
The revision of history is a part of this show that people have come to note over the years. Yes.
Little part true.
There's something to it, right? Trent, has Milt Newton done a good job, or how's he done?
Well, I think he's done a nice job, but both of these guys came into a very tough situation. Everyone, was surprised to see the pass and the Flip Saunders. All of a sudden now you're thrust into a whole new position. But if Milt Newton and Sam Mitchell are the two guys going forward, if you believe they've done a good enough job, sign them now to a multi-year deal so that the young players, when they go into the offseason and when they come back, they know exactly who they're working for.
Okay, if you're Glenn Taylor...
no bench.
Hang on. If you're Glenn Taylor, who are you asking as to whether or not you're trying to figure out they did a good job? If it's Sam Mitchell, do you ask players, or is it, how do you figure out whether or not you think Sam's doing a good job?
Well, I mean, look at the improvement of the young players you're talking about. Zach LaVine came into this year. There were some question marks about whether he could take the next step. His game has grown to the next level. Gorgie Jang, all of a sudden, now has become a better basketball player.
Do you think that Steve Kerr would be such a great coach if you didn't have Michael Thompson's kid and Steve Curry?
Steve Kerr, he's the coach.
Curry, the coach.
Stephon Curry.
Huh?
Yeah, I know what you're saying, Sid, but you always go back and forth because if you want to promote a coach, you say it's all about the coach, and if they're not doing well, you say, well, then no coach could coach that team if you like the coach. So take a break, come back.
The Sports Show is brought to you in part by Escape MSP, the fastest 60 minutes of your life.
Frank, same time next week.
When it drives and looks like new, you'll want to treat it like new. Certified pre-owned by BMW.
Choose from 60 certified pre-owned BMWs at BMW of Minnetonka.
You are watching CW23.
Welcome back to the Sports Show. Let's go down to the Minnesota Wild. Louis, they're in the playoffs. You can be as superstitious as you want.
They're in the playoff
You know how we
position.
call elections after 10% of the votes are in? I'm calling this. They're in the playoffs. There's no way they don't get in after beating Colorado.
Don't tell me that. You know how superstitious I am. They are in a playoff position. They should make the playoffs. They're in a good position this time of the year. You very, very, very seldom ever see 5 points made up. You can't see it. I can't ever recall making it up.
Not
but
in
I'm
this
still
short
not
time.
calling it.
Okay, who would you like to see them match up with if they make the playoffs?
no use picking, and you're going to play a good team, whether it's Chicago, Dallas, or St. Louis. Obviously, I'd rather see them play St. Louis because they've had success against them the last couple of years, and it's just like them playing in Colorado. They seem to beat Colorado when they're in Colorado.
For whatever reason,
For whatever reason, so you'd like to see that. But St. Louis is a great team. They go into Washington. Last night it was supposedly the best team in the league, and shut them out 4-0 right in Washington. So you can't really
Zach
call.
Parise scores 5 goals in 2 games after a bit of a drought. Is that because he's in the right place at the right time, or because he's figured something out? What happens?
First of all, what you saw before was an aberration. I said that on the radio. People are getting excited, and I can understand why. It never happened to him before. If you go back to high school, college, pro, he never had that kind of drought before. So everybody starts saying, is he hurt? Is he
getting beat up too much in the corners?
No, it's just sometimes, and Trent will tell you, it happens with every sport, not just hockey players. Sometimes your best players go cold. But he just had to persevere and work through it. And once he got one, it was just like all the tension was relieved, came off him, and he was able to follow up and get more. It's a big burden off his shoulders. And so he's a guy that's accustomed to delivering like that. And he certainly is accustomed to delivering against Colorado. He's got 16 points more than any other player in the National Hockey League in the last, I think, 5 years against Colorado. So it's something that
hang on, we're going to find out what really went on.
Let me ask you something. Is that Coyle the best player they got?
Coyle's had a sensational year. He's been probably the most consistent.
He's a good kid, too.
Young kid.
Big and strong.
Big and strong.
And he's a nice guy. Every day you meet him,
he's a great kid.
Personality,
kid.
you know?
Yeah.
So does Torchetti come back next year? Or is that still...
All depends how the season ends up.
Let me ask Sid first, because he's been shut out so far this segment. Do you think that Wild will bring back their head coach next year?
Definitely. If he makes a playoff, definitely.
What are you basing that on? Is these conversations that you've had, is this a gut feel? What is this?
Number one, he put him in playoff. Number one, he doesn't get too much money. And they're still paying the other coach for 2 more years. And they ain't going to put that money out. He's going to come back.
You heard it right here.
So you don't even have to comment on that, huh?
What do I think? I think it all depends on how he does in the playoffs. If he gets in the playoffs, which Mike thinks they are in, and I really believe they have a good chance to get in. My superstition is not coming. Not going to allow me to say anything more. But I think they want to see how he performs in the playoffs too. But he's done a real good job with them.
They're paying the other coach for 2 years.
Right.
Trent, are you superstitious? Were you superstitious as an athlete?
Not really.
Drive the same way to the game, or?
Hey, living in New York, you're just trying to find the best way to get there.
You just hope to get to Madison Square Garden on time, huh?
Right.
Take a break, come back, stay with us. You're watching this.
If you guys could go on a free shopping spree anywhere, where would you go? I'd go to the grocery store. Pizza, ice cream. I'd go shop for clothes. You know where I go? I'd go to Ticket King. Ticket King! At Ticket King, you can buy great seats for the Vikings, the Wild, the Timberwolves, and of course the Twins. We love the Twins! Yep, this is where I go. Vikings, Twins, Wild, Timberwolves, Gophers, theater, and concerts too. For details, go to TicketKingOnline.com. Any ticket, anytime, anywhere. It's the real thing. It's Ticket King. Right, Dad?
Couldn't have said it any better myself.
That's for sure.
Take every step without hesitation. Anticipate your next move with certainty. Because our trusted advisors help you prepare for challenges specific to your business. Our focus is always on you, so your focus is always forward. Experience the power of being understood. RSM, audit, tax, and consulting for the middle market.
You're watching watching CW23.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the sports show. NCAA basketball tournament said a lot of upsets early, and then at the end of the day, the higher seeds are still around. Your thoughts?
North Carolina will win.
You like North Carolina? What about Wisconsin the other day? They got robbed against Notre Dame.
Yeah,
robbed.
They got official killed them.
Yeah.
They beat themselves a little bit, too.
Sure they did.
But the official had something to do with it. But they wouldn't have gone one more game, they'd have won, that's all.
They used to talk about this being the greatest sporting event in the world. I don't think it is anymore. I don't see that. There wasn't as much drama. I look at a lot of empty seats at games. What do you think?
Well, you know, to get teams and fans to follow these teams across the country can be very, very tough. But when you talk about, you know, who has a chance to win it all, I think Oklahoma has a really good chance to win the national championship. They have a player in Buddy Hill. You know, when you need someone to step up and give you a big game in a big moment, he has shown so far this year that he can do that. And the one thing you like about Oklahoma, these guys have been together for about 4 years. It's a veteran basketball team. They understand how to play together, and that's a good sign for Oklahoma going forward.
Tell me why.
Who is NCAA hockey tournament like?
Who wins it?
Yeah.
Boy, it's going to be a good one. I'm hoping for North Dakota. All our Minnesota teams.
You're allowed to do that, right?
Yeah, and I think North Dakota is probably the best team in there. Quinnipiac.
Is Bester got a high upside for an NHL career?
He certainly looks like it. He's had a great rookie season. He's 26 goals now, and their line has been as good a line as it's been in the college hockey. So they're going to have to beat Boston College. It's going to be interesting to start in the first game, but North Dakota should be favored.
Sidney, it's your turn, buddy.
North Carolina will win the NCAA championship. They're playing the best basketball right now, and they got the best opponents coming up.
Do you know Roy Williams at all?
Yes, I know Roy Williams.
From where?
You.
He got him the job.
The Sports Show is brought to you in part by Cambria, makers of quality quartz surfaces. Ticket King. For the best price on tickets anywhere, try Ticket King. Escape MSP, the fastest 60 minutes of your life. RSM. This is the power of being understood. This is RSM. BMW of Minnetonka. Choose from 60 certified pre-owned BMWs at BMW of Minnetonka. And Bobby and Steve's Auto World. Go to BobbyandStevesAutoWorld.com for huge savings on everything from convenience store items to everything under the hood of your car.
4x for scenic routes that only you find scenic. For the great outdoors and the great indoors. For knowing boundaries are there to be crossed.
4x4 today, tomorrow, but never same.
Jeep Cherokee. It's how we live 4x forever. Current lessees of competitive vehicles get a low mileage lease on the 2016 Jeep Cherokee for $159 a month.
Spring is in the air, thanks to the new Subway Spring Garden Chicken Salad Sandwich. Our refreshing chicken salad is made daily in our restaurants with hand-pulled rotisserie-style chicken, raised without antibiotics, blended with green onion seasoning and light mayo, with mild cheddar cheese on top of spinach, tomatoes, cucumbers, and onions, all on freshly toasted bread, and only 450 calories. People aren't just eating them. They're inhaling them. The Subway Sandwich Shop. Fresh is what we do.
Drive a few miles to get 1,000,000 miles at Barnett, the only Twin Cities Kia dealer with the 1,000,000-mile warranty.
Yes, the only one. And it's free.
Lease a 2016 Forte LX only $139 a month with 0 down. Or a 2015 Optima LX just $169 with 0 down.
At Barnett, we go the extra 1,000,000 miles.
Barnett Kia, home of the 1,000,000-mile warranty. Shop online or learn more about the 1,000,000-mile warranty at BarnettKia.com. Barnett.
Welcome to our sales event with low APR financing on the Tundra.
We're going to use it to tow our boat. I'm going to tow my boat and my ATVs.
We're going to tow our boat, ATVs, and horses.
We don't have horses.
Yeah, we do. In this story.
I like that story.
Right now, get special Twin Cities Auto Show savings, like 1.9% APR financing for 60 months on the rugged 2016 Toyota Tundra. Hurry in today.
Let the towing begin.